Welcome to another episode of The Guy Code. I am Rhinoceros. Now, guys, on this episode, we're going to be talking about being bored in the relationship, right? This is a subject that affects many people, whereby you've been in a relationship, and you just feel that things are just flatlining. They're not going good. They're not getting better. They're just there, and everything just feels bland. Now, we need to understand, and I got some of the material I want to share on this episode from a book that I'm reading from Orion Taraban. It's known as Psych Hacks on YouTube. The book is called The Value of Others. I really recommend that you get a hold of it. It has very good nuggets that will help you. So he explains, and he really brought to insight that when you're bored in a relationship, it is caused by, number one, you are not being your true self and expressing your true self. In short, he's saying you're not telling the truth. That's number one. And number two, it's because you are too strict in keeping up rigid roles and scripts, right? You're playing by a certain textbook. And that textbook is boring, right? When you're trying to be a cookie cutter to mold into something, it will be boring. And ideally, if you get to think about it, that is why some of these marriages and unions that are very too religious and by two very conservative religious people, they seem boring. Why? Because they're trying to fit into a role and a description that is outlined, maybe not even by the holy book that they believe, but by quote-unquote spiritual advisors, so that they feel that, oh, what if I try this? That might be exciting, but, will it be accepted in this faith that we are in? So when you are trying to follow some rigid set roles and scripts, the relationship will get boring. Right? Loosen up yourself. The relationship is yours, not of this trying religious community that you're trying to get the validation of. And most of these worshippers, to be honest, if they got to share what is they do behind closed doors, you will be shocked that their validation doesn't really count for much. The only thing that you should be looking for is the validation of your creator. And yeah, that's a whole story for another day. Nonetheless, on the topic of today, I wanted to share that since these are the two things that cause boredom in a relationship, when you're sweeping things under the carpet, so you have like this blockage of so many things you want to share, but you don't want to share, either because you're trying to fit into a next certain rigid script and role, or you just don't want to share the truth because you don't want to try and break rapport. But the truth is that the major and the biggest signal of that you have rapport is that you're willing to break rapport. Just think about it. With your best friends, there's a way you can talk with your best friends that many people might think that's insulting, but you understand that that's how you talk because they're your best friends. You can be able to break that rapport. You can be able to shake things up and say some things that are sometimes not favorable and quite appropriate according to the standards of others. Now, we need to understand that when you're bored in the relationship, and these are the main problems you're facing, first of all, you need to accept the reality as it is, that you are bored, and voice it, right? Just take the bull by the horns, because keeping it inside will just build more resentment, and inevitably you will get to that worst case scenario that you have been trying to put your head in the sand from, right? Trying to avoid. You will get there through silent resentment boiling, right? So you need to address it first and foremost, right? And ideally, guys, you should have had picked a very mature partner who will be able to embrace the truth that you're about to express. If you picked someone who will misinterpret your own communication, then we can see that's a whole different problem in and of itself that you got yourself into, right? If you pick someone who can't really even communicate, that you can't really communicate what you're feeling with and just be yourself around, then that's on you. You just messed up from the get-go. Like, you fucked up. So, first of all, be willing to express it. Let's say, yo, something is off, okay? And something needs to be done. So, of course, accept the reality. Even before you voice it to the partner, accept that reality yourself. And as a man, figure out, okay, what can I do to break this monotony that I feel in this relationship, right? Because all of us, none of us is really boring. None of us is really black and white and bland. All of us have personality, right? Most of it, the people who are bland about it are just the ones who stifle their personality. They're trying to please everyone and not shake anyone and don't sound controversial with their takes, but they have them. There's no way you can have zero personality as a human being on this planet, I strongly believe. So be willing to express yourself authentically, okay? So, and when you do that, ideally, your relationship will not be boring anymore, right? Do something that, number one, makes you feel that you're your authentic self. Be in places and involve yourself in things that make you feel that you are your authentic self, and can bring that out in your partner as well. Maybe it's just being spontaneous. Maybe it's being playful, right? You become too rigid, you become too routine. You go to work, you come back, you take care of the kids, you cook, you go sleep, you do the same over and over and over again. And now it feels like a duty to be in that relationship, right? You don't see each other as that raw attraction, the genuine attraction that we have covered in a previous episode that you had initially. You see each other as mama and baba so-and-so. And now it sucks. Now you're like, okay, this is routine. It's not ideal, but it's manageable. And you need more than just manageable. You need something that is fulfilling, because this is your life, okay? You don't want to reach the end of your life and look back and you're like, okay, it was okay, I guess. No, you have to look back and be glad that you made the choices that you did and took the risks that you did. And all these risks is actually just opening your mouth and expressing that, this is how I feel. This is how I'm pointing out my state of the events. And this is what I plan to do to shake things up and bring in some new passion into this interaction, right? For most guys, and including myself, I must say that this is a conversation that I will find very awkward to have. So ideally for me, what I will do is I will recognize the reality that things are just flatlining and become more spontaneous, right? Become more spontaneous. Be willing to push myself and get myself in situations that are not really convenient or comfortable, because it seems that the fact that we got to that point, it means that we are just trying not to shake the boat. Sometimes the boat needs to be shaken, because that's how we get to see ourselves for who we are and appreciate it. So when things get boring, guys, number one, recognize it and be willing to do something about it, or voice it. Because voicing it will really cause some polarity. Either they will accept it, or they will say, you know what, if you're not happy, you should just about leave. And now okay, evidently, it's not boring anymore. Okay? There's some drama. Is it the drama you want? Probably it's necessary, because now you needed to address it. You couldn't go another day just building that resentment within you the whole time and don't want to address it. Get yourself to just speak your mind about it. And believe me, it won't be boring anymore. And if this partner that you chose and this girlfriend and wife that you chose is mature about it, they will definitely want the best of you to come out in this season, and possibly they will agree that finally he picked up on something. Because also women most of the time are non-confrontational. Ideally, the ones who are, that's a different story. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this, about when you feel bored in the relationship. What do you guys think? Tell me if you have been in this situation, if you've learned and maybe seen someone else in this situation, what you think should be done, or do you think that's just the beginning of the end and let that relationship die? I really appreciate your feedbacks on the Telegram channel, Guy Code Kenya, on my Twitter account, Guy Code Kenya. And until next time, guys, we shall talk soon. Bye.